Have you ever felt that a late reply from someone keeps bothering you? You feel anxious when someone ignores your text or doesn't reply the way you expected. Your mood slowly starts depending on their likes on your post, or even on the way they talk to you that day. And without realizing it, your emotional state begins to depend on another person's actions. If you can relate to this, then you may have developed a strong emotional attachment to someone who does not feel the same level of attachment toward you. Your personal life is no longer controlled by your inner stability, but by external reactions you cannot control. And I know the anxiety and emotional pain you might be going through. So in this video, I will give you step-by-step psychological methods to detach yourself emotionally and take back control of your mind and your peace. To understand detachment, we first need to understand the basic principles of attachment. Attachment is deeply rooted in human nature. From the very moment we are born, we are attached to someone. A baby is attached to its mother for food, love, protection, and security. This is not a choice. It is biology. Psychologists call this attachment theory, first developed by John Bowlby, which explains that humans are biologically wired to form emotional bonds because those bonds increase our chances of survival. As we grow older, attachment does not disappear. It simply changes form. Adults become attached to friends, colleagues, and romantic partners. At every stage of life, attachment exists because of our physical and emotional needs. As social beings, humans are naturally inclined toward connection. Our brain releases chemicals like oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, whenever we feel emotionally connected to someone. So attachment itself is not bad. In fact, it lives inside our cognitive system for one important reason: survival. Human civilization was built on cooperation, trust, and emotional bonding. But here is the important truth. Anything in excessive quantity becomes harmful. Even something as sweet as honey can become poison if consumed too much. In the same way, excessive attachment slowly disturbs emotional balance. When our happiness becomes dependent on another person's actions, our mind loses stability. Anxiety increases, overthinking begins, and emotional control weakens. So the goal is not to eliminate attachment, because that is impossible. The real goal is to control attachment so that connection exists, but control remains within you. Because true mental peace comes not from avoiding relationships, but from maintaining stability within them. Chapter 1. Broaden your field of view. When you become emotionally attached to one person or one outcome, your world slowly becomes smaller. Your attention narrows. Your thoughts begin to revolve around a single message, a single reaction, a single individual. Psychologists call this attentional narrowing, a mental state where strong emotions reduce our ability to see the bigger picture. The brain begins to treat that person or situation as if it is essential for your happiness, even when it is not. So instead of centering your world around one person, expand your focus. Talk to other colleagues, other batchmates, make new friends, try new places. When your field of view expands, emotional dependency naturally weakens. Research in positive psychology shows that people who diversify their emotional investments, meaning they engage in multiple meaningful activities, experience lower anxiety and stronger emotional resilience. Detachment does not begin by removing someone from your life. It begins by adding more life into your world. Chapter 2. Lower your expectations. The next step toward detachment is to lower your expectations from the people you are emotionally attached to. Most emotional pain does not come from what people do, it comes from what we expected them to do. We create silent expectations in our mind. They should reply quickly. They should understand without explanation. They should care the same way we care. And when reality fails to match those expectations, disappointment turns into anxiety, frustration, and emotional suffering. Psychology explains this through something called expectation-reality gap. The larger the gap between what we expect and what actually happens, the greater the emotional distress we feel. The problem is not always the person. Often, it is the invisible story we created about them in our own mind. When attachment grows stronger, expectations grow silently alongside it. You begin to measure affection through replies, attention through behavior, and love through consistency. Slowly, your emotional stability becomes dependent on actions you cannot control. But here is a powerful truth. Expectations are emotional contracts that the other person never signed. Chapter 3. Focus on yourself. When we become emotionally attached to someone, our attention slowly shifts away from our own life. We start monitoring their actions, their mood, their responses, and their availability. Without realizing it, our mental energy begins to revolve around another person instead of our own growth. Psychology shows that attention is a limited resource. The more energy you invest in observing someone else's behavior, the less energy remains for self-development, creativity, and personal progress. This is why emotional attachment often leads to overthinking. Your mind is busy solving problems that are not truly yours to control. Emotionally strong people reverse this process. Instead of asking, "Why are they acting like this?" they ask, "What can I improve in my own life today?" Focusing on yourself is not selfish, it is psychological balance. These are 3 solid steps you can start applying today to improve your emotional condition. But remember, this is not a one-day process. Detachment is not something you achieve overnight. It is something you build through consistent practice and patience. You have to implement these changes in your daily life and give yourself time to see the results. Some days will feel easy, and some days you may fall back into old patterns, and that is completely normal. Real mental change happens slowly as your mind learns new habits and unlearns emotional dependence. Stay consistent, trust the process, and allow yourself the time needed to grow stronger emotionally.